Ready Check Radio. What's up, Internet? Welcome to the Relic Grind, Ready Check Radio's Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast. And yes, E3, it has been busy. It is a busy few days for me coming up, yes, but it actually just hasn't stopped. It's been a busy, week and a half, right? Because I got to cover all the E3 free-to-play stuff with Jason and Q over on MMO Bomb. Then we did Gaming Gumbo last Saturday, talking about day one of E3 and the Summer Game Fest kickoff. We've been covering it all week on MMO Bomb so far. We got this show where we're going to talk E3. Tomorrow, no stream on Ready Check Radio. We'll be hosting Mr. Happy, as I'll be over there for State of the Realm talking about E3 with Sly and Mr. Happy. And then Saturday, right back here talking about E3 on Gaming Gumbo. That's not to mention that on MMO Bomb tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, live, twitch.tv/MMO Bomb. You can see us talk about E3 there as well. Lots to do. It's been a busy 2 weeks on the gaming front. A busy 2 weeks. And yes, that does mean today on this show, we will talk about Square Enix and their E3 broadcast. We're going to start with a little Final Fantasy stuff first, and then we'll get to that. The host joining me to do all of that, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. It's been an okay weekend. Okay for me.
It's just okay.
It was just okay.
You do not look like a pumpkin. Your light looks good.
Thank you. Thank you. I got new bulbs. Something that I feel after this weekend, though, that I need to bring up, though. I feel like chaos is working to make things more chaotic for everyone.
All right, that's
the
your
spread
one.
of this chaos will allow chaos.
That's your one.
To control everything, which is an oxymoron, as chaos can't be controlled. Clearly, we need to band together as gamers to kill chaos. I'm done.
Boop.
Boop.
Also on the line, ready to talk about Final Fantasy XIV and Square Enix at E3, Mr. Adam Lane, a.k.a. Kronos. What's up, sir?
Do we have to talk
I
about
swear to God,
E3?
if you fucking say chaos, I'm quitting this show.
I don't... Tark
already
and
turned
the
his
trailer
camera
have
off.
said it enough, dude. I don't need to say it anymore.
Yeah, I turned his camera off. He's done. He's out of here. He's out of here. When we come back to him, we'll see if I give him a camera back on his solo frame or not. Right now, it's black. It's just a black screen. We'll get to that, I'm sure. I'm sure we all have opinions. Congratulations, by the way, to Adam Lane. Finally has secured himself a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Congrats. Did you have a chance to play Origin demo?
So my roommate has one, and I watched him play and played a little bit. But so yeah,
okay.
After waiting 2 days, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to it. But all three of us have played it, so we'll have opinions not just on E3 presentation, but on the game itself when we get there. First, let's start with some Final Fantasy XIV news, and there hasn't been an awful lot on that front. Again, we're kind of in the doldrums. We do know that now we're going to have a live letter on July 9th. So that's just a couple of weeks away here, a little less than a month. Then we're going to have the 14-hour stream, which we talked about on our previous show about a month after that. So we do have some stuff to hold us over. We're not really expecting a lot from any of those. Ooh, excuse me. Besides more interaction with the community than anything else. Probably not going to be a whole lot on the info dump. But Final Fantasy XIV's been seeing a growth, just like every other game over this whole COVID experience for all of us, but maybe a little more than some others. And of course, with World of Warcraft's 9.1 patch being so far delayed from the actual expansion launch to the patch, some people may be exploring, looking for other things to play, and we do now have a date for 9.1, so that's good, about 2 weeks from now. That'll be sweet. And a raid opening up after that. That's nice on the World of Warcraft front. But some, let's say, established high follower World of Warcraft personas have been dabbling in Eorzea lately, Kronos. Most notably, probably Bellular, right? Has been dabbling. He's talked about it on his podcast, on his video cast. He's made a number of different videos on it. Made an entire video talking to basically the Blizzard audience, not so much in a WoW sucks right now and you should really try out Final Fantasy, but he used Final Fantasy to try and explain his views on why World of Warcraft is struggling right now, what Blizzard is doing wrong, and why they really need to be aware of their competition, whether that be Final Fantasy or not. Things that they've historically done very well in the past, but arguably aren't doing very well now. I got to say, it's always interesting for me to see, and this, I don't mean the term negatively, outsiders' perspective, right, when it comes to Final Fantasy. I like seeing people that I know understand the ins and outs of the business, they understand the ins and outs of the genre, come and check out Final Fantasy for the first time. I like seeing that type of stuff. Particularly, I am a fan of Bellular, so full disclosure there. I do agree with a lot of things he says when it comes to World of Warcraft. So it's nice to see him and some of his compatriots enjoying 14, Kronos.
Yeah, I actually watched that whole video. So I didn't really know who this guy was until about a week or two ago.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not a WoW guy.
I'm not a WoW person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really play WoW. I mean, I played WoW for like maybe collectively 6 hours in like 2 little small stints where I played like not very long. And so I wasn't really aware. I know who Asmongold is. Asmongold's very, very big.
Right.
But I didn't know who this guy was. And his videos are actually really good. So I started kind of watching them. And it's funny because we touched on this last week where we talked about how aware Final Fantasy is of like its competition, and like a lot of his video is basically talking about how like Blizzard's very unaware, or like just doesn't care.
Well, and making the point that they weren't always this way.
Right.
You know, we've made the joke before on other shows on if a game has a cool feature, WoW is eventually going to steal it, and now that doesn't seem to be the case anymore.
Yeah, and I think we've also made the same points like he made too, where like if it's healthy that if both games are good, it's good for both games because they just steal from each other like infinitely, right? Which makes both games a lot better. So I mean, I'm glad these people are coming over. It honestly makes more people talk about 14, gets more people in there, and yeah, I think it's great. I'm really like excited to kind of watch Asmongold try the game because I'm not really sure how much he's gonna like it.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second because I think that's a totally like a different beast, and people have kind of conflicting opinions on this one to a certain degree. But first, Tark, your take on Bellular's recent excursions in Hydaelyn.
I've actually been starting to pay attention to him because I played a little bit of WoW back in the day. So I really started watching Bellular about 3-4 months ago. Hey, I didn't say the word. What are you doing? Come on. Anyways.
I give you your camera back. You say it again. Say it again. I'm taking the camera away.
I didn't say it. So I'm liking his experienced but fresh take on 14, and also like that he's got his show partner Matt, kind of as like a senpai to him, kind of explaining some of the ins and outs and the way things are working. Because Bellular was talking about running animation, movement animation, and it's actually just the way the animation works. It's not actually a build up in speed. So I've been really enjoying his take and all of his videos and clips that he's been talking about 14 on. It's good to bring more eyes onto the game.
Yeah, I mean, anything that brings attention to your favorite game, whether it's an MMO or not, you're probably going to view pretty favorably. No matter what game you're talking about or who is playing. When you see high profile, high follower, high subscriber, people looking at your game for the first time and generally reacting positively, it gives you the warm and fuzzies. Some people though not so happy about someone else that has decided to take a look at Final Fantasy XIV, and that would be Asmongold himself. Longtime World of Warcraft contributor. Long time. Huge following. Now, say what you will about Asmon or Asmon's followers as a whole. Some people have opinions on both of those. I'm sure maybe we have opinions, and we'll give them there too. Asmon has decided to finally check out Final Fantasy XIV. Now, Asmon's kind of been reluctant to do so. It just didn't hold any. It wasn't that he's like, that game sucks. He just wasn't interested. You know, the bunnies, the lingerie type costumes, that's just not his cup of tea, right? And that's totally fine. There are people that don't like World of Warcraft because they don't like the cartoony aspect of it, not because, that game is shit. So that's totally fine. But now, a little bit of angst in the whole World of Warcraft thing. I'm interested to see where this goes now, particularly that 9.1 in World of Warcraft got announced today. Faye left.
Oh, no.
Faye left. So that's why the camera's lit. Particularly now that 9.1 got announced today is coming out on the 29th, how that's going to maybe change what I think maybe Asmon thought he had a little more time, right? I just wanted to put the screenshot back up because until she turns her camera back on, Tark's a pony again.
I'm a pony.
You're a pony again. Oh, there you go. So, yeah, it might be interesting. But he's going to check it out. He wants to give it, from everything he said in the couple of videos he's done on it so far, wants to give it a fair shot, doesn't want to boost his character, wants to play the story, is a little, apprehensive about some things, having to play through all of that story to get to what he wants, which is, the more Raideo type content and things like that. Where we get into a little controversy, though, Kronos, is that not everybody is on board with somebody of Asmon's profile and Asmon's fan base coming along to your game of choice. And I get that he's a personal flavor for some people. Sometimes I agree with him. Sometimes I don't. I generally, I find him humorous in some situations and in some not. And that's okay. I don't find him himself to be toxic in general, maybe on certain topics, but, they're topics he absolutely believes in when you start talking about them. I think the concern from Reddit and from forums and places like this is more that the community he might bring or could potentially bring might not be the type of community that the Final Fantasy XIV gatekeepers would like to have come.
Yeah.
So first off, I have zero issue with him playing the game. I actually think he should. I think it's awesome. I think it's going to be great for the game overall. I think the people that are like upset about it, I think they have this idea that like somehow our community is all sunshines and rainbows, and that's just like super false. I mean, it's great. I love the community, but like there are, there are people like Asmongold or even like his chat that already play the game. Like they're there. They just don't come up as often, which, is good, but it's not like he's bringing anything that doesn't already exist. And honestly, he's just bringing more eyes. And I think it's going to be awesome just to get his opinion. Like Tark said, it's always going to be good to have other eyes on the game that are new eyes. And so I'm interested to see. I'm one of the people that think he should probably just buy a skip. Because I think for what he wants out of the game, I'm really worried he's going to drown in ARR. I really am. Because like from the way he describes like WoW quests and stuff, because I have like zero context for like WoW quests, but he seems to say that like WoW quests are like all like they used to be really good and now they're not so good. And I don't really think questing in 14 is that great, honestly. But outside the main story, like if you're following the main story is great. But really, all you're doing if you're skipping cutscenes is going from like person to person, NPC to NPC.
Right.
And I don't really think that's going to be that exciting for him if he's not really caring much about the story. And if that's the case and he just wants to play the in-game raids, I think a boost might be the best thing just to get him kind of like where he wants to be. But I don't think he's very adamant that he's not going to do that, which I think is great. Yeah. But I'm curious to see how that works out for him.
Yeah, and even as longtime players, I think all three of us, we played, two of us played version 1 for fuck's sake. All three of us, I think at this point would be like, if you're not invested and enjoying the story, the leveling experience in Final Fantasy, particularly when A Realm Reborn, and even with the percentage squish that they put in and the quests that they cut to try and streamline that now that we're a couple expansions down the road, that's still a slog. And Heavensward is still a slog. If you aren't invested in the story itself, that feels brutal to do. So as a new player, Tark, like, you got to be invested in the story and curious about the story and want to learn about the story and paying attention to the story. Or, yeah, I mean, it maybe doesn't leave the best first impression. It also differs from World of Warcraft and other MMOs in certain aspects where, you know, in World of Warcraft and other MMOs, you might hit a level and X dungeons at that level just unlock for you. They're in the duty finder and stuff. That's not the case in Final Fantasy, where you have to... there are a series of dungeons that open up, but not necessarily once you hit the Heavensward and forward, not all of them, right? Some of those experts at the time and things like that, those come from main or from side quests that add to the duty finder. So it's not as... While it is super alt-friendly, I don't think Final Fantasy is all that friendly, and this is coming from a #1 fan, for somebody that isn't after a narrative of any type.
Yeah, new players can be easily overwhelmed. There's so much that isn't just automatically unlocked. If you don't know that every little blue exclamation point is something that unlocks something, you could just skip right by it. You can skip dungeons. You can skip normal raids. I mean, the main story makes you do Crystal Tower now, so that's good. But there's so much that you can pass over and miss just because you're trying to get through MSQ and get up to level 80. Where Bellular has Matt to kind of guide him, I kind of wish that Asmongold also had someone that he could go to that could kind of guide him and what to do and what to unlock and what to get done.
I almost wish that Asmon wouldn't have said anything, though. Like, and I understand why, right? It's a huge boon to, you know, followers and his audience and stuff like that. So as a content creator, you know, not nearly on his level as far as numbers, but somebody that understands that type of stuff, I get why he said something before he went and did it. It creates a buzz. We're sitting here fucking talking about it, right? But I almost wish he wouldn't have said anything and just started playing, right? And just, you know, played it to his computer. Do it stream fashion, talk all you want, but privately at home, and then posted some videos of, like, his first 25 levels. Because I honestly feel like the poor guy's going to just, like, get slammed on by a bunch of naked cats and bunnies as soon as he logs in, once people find out character name and server and stuff like that, Kronos. And that's certainly not going to help his experience initially.
No.
I pray that he doesn't start in Limsa. I pray for him. Yeah, I mean, I think that's...
Well, that's
the
thing. It's all about class too, you know. And he wants to play anybody that wields a two-hander. That's he wants great swords.
That's the other thing too. He's gonna have to make it a Heavensward to play Dark Knight.
Yep.
Like he's not gonna be able to. I don't know if that's gonna bother him either. I don't think he knows that based on what I've seen. I don't think he knows that he can't play Dark Knight at level 1, which might be another reason to boost. But I don't know. Yeah, I didn't even think about like people logging in on his server and just like bombarding him. That's definitely gonna happen. Yeah. That's gonna be bad. That's gonna, like, just because, I mean, he gets like what, like upwards of like 10,000 viewers, right?
Oh yeah, and I mean, he puts up a video on him reacting to anything, and within hours it's got 200,000 views, you know, on YouTube and shit.
The videoception between him and Bellular, like reviewing each other's conversations, has been hilarious.
It's pretty great.
I've loved it.
Yeah, it's been awesome. But yeah, I think totally people are going to even make characters on that server wherever he goes. They're just going to make characters and follow him around. I don't know if he's going to enjoy that. Yeah, honestly, that hadn't even crossed my mind until just now, and that sounds terrible.
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, to bring up the pressing issues in the world of Eorzea. I mean, I wish him luck. I hope he enjoys it just from somebody who absolutely adores the game and the Final Fantasy franchise and everything. I'd love to see him, you know, enjoy it too. I don't have any problem with him or his audience or whatever. Like you said, Kronos, it's kind of like whenever you start getting a lot of people together, the number of asshats gets bigger. It doesn't matter what we're all together for.
Yeah.
Right? The bigger the audience gets, the more asshats are in the audience. So, and welcome. All come, pay a month, and, you know, enjoy and see what happens. We shall see. We shall see. I have extended, I mean, I don't expect him to take up this invitation, but I did privately extend an invitation through communication channels to Asmon to come in and talk to us, even if we did it as a recording. behind the scenes for one of these podcasts, so I'll keep you posted on that. Let's talk about E3. Now, again, I've been talking E3 for a week. It's going to continue throughout the weekend here and on Mr. Happy's channel and on MMO Bomb tomorrow and back here on Saturday for more of it. So today, let's narrow the focus to just Square Enix's presentation, gentlemen. Just Square Enix's presentation. They had approximately, 45 minutes on day 2 of the event.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, we're going to go individually over the announcements, but Tark, I'd kind of like, what did you think? We kind of expected, if we saw anything about 14, it was probably just going to be a showcase of the Endwalker trailer for people that maybe didn't watch, aren't the FanFest type audience. So maybe throw the trailer in there as an in-betweeny thing between 2 announcements. They didn't do that. We thought maybe we would get something on 16, whether it was a little more extended trailer, or whether it was even just a nod or a, hey, we're still working on it. No, that wasn't there either. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. All 3 of us, I think, thought it was unlikely that we were going to see anything there besides maybe a splash screen for it in between some. No, it wasn't there at all either. Yeah. So
the big 3 that I was hoping for, I knew there wasn't going to be anything for 14 because we just had the.
Yeah, we thought at best they would just re-show the trailer for a new audience.
I was hoping for something 16. It's been 9-10 months since we've had the trailer or any talk about it. Nothing.
Yep.
Like 5% chance we were going to get anything for Remake Part 2. Nothing. The one I'm really surprised about is not getting anything for Forspoken. That's supposed to come in January, I believe.
Yeah.
And we got nothing.
Yeah, and now we know it's going up against Elden Ring in January.
Yep.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Well, at least on the current time slates. Jason feels that one or both will probably suffer from delays. The other one that I was surprised we didn't see anything on was Dragon Quest XII. I was absolutely sure that we were probably, going to get like at least a character reveal or something. We got nothing. And when I say nothing, gentlemen, I'm talking like they weren't even mentioned. There was not there wasn't even a slide of look at what's coming in 2021 and 2022 and a list of product names. There was nothing. They were just totally absent from the entire presentation. Honestly, Kronos, give me your kind of overview on their presentation before we start breaking down individual items in it. What did you think?
Yeah, I can't say that I was really a fan. Like Tark said, I thought for sure we'd get Forspoken news, and I was amazed that just wasn't there. And so I mean, the thing is I'm such a big Square fan. There's definitely a few games they showed that I'm gonna buy, but I can't come away from this presentation and be like, man, that was amazing. Or even the hype that I have, the small hype I have for the games that I am gonna buy isn't super high. So they didn't really do anything to remotely wow me. I felt like I had tempered my expectations, and I felt like they still kind of fell short of that.
Okay, because I felt the same thing. I was
agree.
like, I don't expect a lot out of this, and it's still disappointing. I gotta say, as a whole, by the way, and I'm sure I'll make this point on MMO Bomb and on Happy's thing, State of the Realm tomorrow. As a whole, I feel like E3 could have been 2 days instead of 4.
Oh, yeah.
Working in the news reporting and journalism and on MMO Bomb and then doing this stuff too, it has been exhausting. It has been an exhausting week. Talk to Jason, talk to Q, talk to anybody that does the type of stuff we do. It has been exhausting. And then trying to parse through what the hell Summer Game Fest was, how it related to E3. Were they the same thing? Oh, no, they're not the same thing.
No.
This is and then getting news from them and then getting news from E3 and having... It's just been exhausting. It's just been exhausting. And honestly, it didn't feel like, Tark, it was worth being exhausted over.
You could... I feel for you, dude. I can't imagine being in your spot, having to cover 3+ days when, yeah, it could have been a day and a half to 2 days. There was no reason to stretch it out like they did.
What do you think of Square's presentation?
Just meh. Like, I tempered my expectations. You know, I had hopes for those big three. I didn't expect to really get much, but yeah, I felt let down.
I feel like watching the entire thing too, like if any one of the companies did just what you expected them to show off, like if Square was going to take the stage and you said, what would you think that Square would show off at E3, Kronos, and you listed all those things, if they would have just done that, like even just a current trailer, hey, we don't have any news, but let's take a look at that trailer again, you know, any single company could have fucking taken Best in Show. It was like every single company disappointed me. And I don't mean that from the entitled gamer, I want my games to be showcased at E3 standpoint. I mean that from, wow, this was just a boring ass show this year. And Square was probably one of the more boring ones for an absolute Square Enix fanboy like myself. So I can't imagine how boring it was for somebody that's just peripherally aware of Square products, Kronos.
Yeah, they said they were trying to like focus more on Western titles or whatever. I don't know. They spent way too long on Guardians of the Galaxy. I know we haven't like talked about it yet. We'll probably get into it, but like,
no, let's start because that is where they started, and they used up about half of their overall presentation time
about 20 minutes,
on Guardians of the Galaxy.
And like, I'm a big Marvel fan. Like, it's kind of funny that now Square is making a lot of Marvel properties, and I've managed to be on this podcast because I like both. I like Square and I like Marvel. But when the two come together, it just doesn't. I don't know. I can say that I feel like this looks like much better than Avengers, at least right now to me. I probably will buy it, but I didn't need to see it for 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was literally half of their presentation time.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing too is because Avengers existed, this probably isn't fair to Guardians, but because Avengers exists, it makes me kind of like standoffish about this game,
right?
Where I probably shouldn't be. Yeah. But like I will say that for the most part, I thought it looked cool. I'm a little disappointed you can only play Star-Lord, but it looks good, and I'll probably try it. I hope it continues to look better. The thing about a lot of the games they showed is like I feel pretty meh, but I'm probably gonna buy a few of them, and I really hope that as we see more, they look better and better each time we see them. Is kind of how I feel.
So I'm the exact opposite end of the spectrum as you, and I'm sure you're not surprised. I bought Avengers because it was a looter shooter. And I'm okay with the Marvel and the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy IPs. I don't buy games specifically because of a comic book IP. I'm just not drawn to the material that way. But I bought it. That burned me. This more single-player experience, obviously a different type of play style, you know, not the whole looter shooter live service type thing. This going in a little bit of a different direction, different IP, still in the, you know, the Marvel universe, Guardians of the Galaxy though instead of Avengers. This one, half of Square Enix's presentation, I could not have cared less about. It would have been impossible for me to care less. This isn't one I'm going to buy. This isn't even one I'm going to consider buying. It's not in my wheelhouse. I feel burnt by Avengers, and even though this is different, I understand that. It's a different approach. It's a different team. It's totally different. I just don't care. I do find it funny, by the way, that when they did the gameplay demo, they had frame rate issues. In their own demo, they had frame rate issues. And once again, we have the knockoff hero faces. I mean, I understand you got to pay the actors to use their likenesses and shit, but for God's sakes, can we stop this? Either go in on the big IP or don't. Pick one. It looks weird. It's distracting. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So
no, you're right.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum there. Tark, are you with one of us or are you right in the middle?
I kind of feel right in the middle. Like the faces, the character models, they don't bother me. I guess maybe Avengers has trained me a little to understand that this is completely separate. So don't think of it in the way of
so
like the
Avengers
MCU.
has trained you
train me
to settle for less.
Yes. To settle for less. Yep, exactly. I kind of get a feeling of Guardians of the Mass Effects Galaxy. Does that ring any
Yeah.
true to you? It kind of
Yeah.
That's how it feels to me now they're presenting it. So you got a nice, tight, hopefully tight single player story. You can mess with it in different ways. You got character relationships, which they established there. The gameplay looks a little stiff though, so I'm not sure how that's going to be. I want to see more of the gameplay and the combat before I make a decision on if I'm going to purchase this or not.
So it's a no from me. It's a yes from Kronos as far as like purchasing this.
It's a
item.
reluctant yes, but yes.
And then Tark is I'll wait to see ACG Carrick's review.
Yeah.
And then I'll make one of the best reviewers on YouTube, by the way. One of the best reviewers. So that was Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're halfway through Square's presentation. Right there, gentlemen. We are done with half of their presentation. So moving on. Oh, by the way, that was Eidos Montreal, so there was nothing on Tomb Raider. Fuck your 25th anniversary, Laura. No, you get nothing. You get nothing except these continued tweets about the Netflix stuff. Then we move on a little bit, taking a look at the Final Fantasy Pixels, the Pixel Remaster. So this is going to be Final Fantasy 1 through 6 being remastered in their 2D pixel forms. Funny, because I remember saying, hey, do you think they took the 3D or added the 3D to the mobile titles because they're going to do something with the originals? And I remember being told, nah. And here we go. So at least I got that one right, I guess.
You did.
Here we go. We don't know a lot about these ones. I'm going to show you an image in a minute of RPG site kind of breaking down the sprite differences on a few of the characters, so you can kind of see what the PS1 version of the Pixel remake made look like, and what the sprites from these trailers that you're seeing right now look like. We do know that they will be sold individually. Let's let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Because I was stunned when I saw that. And that they will only be available, at least from the announcement right now, on Steam and mobile.
Womp womp.
That's it.
The hits keep coming, dude.
That's it. Yeah. People in chat did not know. Yeah, because they did not go out of their way to let people know that these were going to be sold individually. Now, I assume at some point, right, they'll put out a bundle of them at some point. But if these are more than $5, there's no way I'm buying these, Kronos. No matter how good they look. Like, they can't be any more than $5 at this point.
So we're talking about the same company, right?
Yeah.
Square? Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I agree with you. If these are more than $5, this is a ripoff. I think it's going to be more than $5 per. I really do. I really hope it's $5. I think $5 is the perfect price if you're going to sell them individually.
I think so too. And then you got that $30 overall price point. Go ahead and bundle them up once all 6 are released at $24.99. Buy 5, get 1 free type thing. But oh my God, Medic, are you kidding me?
I
If
hope
they
they're not
price these
20.
at $20 a piece, I will set my pubes on fire. I mean, that is just fucking ridiculous.
Something tells me it's going to be like $9.99 or at worst $14.99.
That would make the whole thing a $60 retail release.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. And then the other thing that kind of burns me a little bit is this is like the perfect chance they could have put like all the content from like the PSP and like the stuff they added to the games back into the games again.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that.
Nope.
So that's kind of disappointing. And then I feel like it's also like a weird sell to people on Steam that already have, even though I agree the sprite work on the Steam versions is not very good. But like I can already get the emulated versions basically for free. So it just seems like a weird sell. I'm not really sure, so 1 and 2 are the only ones that don't exist on Steam at all, and then obviously 3 and 4 have the 3D versions that they renamed. So I just feel like 3. I'm curious to see sales wise how 3 through 6 does on Steam.
Yeah,
It's just weird.
for those of you in chat or watching on YouTube that didn't know they were individually, the only way you found that out was after the show via the Final Fantasy Twitter.
Yeah.
And that was, they said the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster series sees the first 6 incredible adventures get a pixel perfect makeover. Each hashtag Final Fantasy title will release individually, and will be coming soon to Steam and mobile platforms. So that is the source. It is right from the Final Fantasy Twitter on that. And that is the only place you could find that initially, because I assumed when they showed it, I was like, oh, that's cool. You know, that'll probably be a $30 purchase. I'll have 6 games. You know, that'll be cool. Then I was like, oh, my God, they're going individual. That means they want to charge top dollar for these things, Tark. And then it's only Steam and mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you don't want to do PlayStation and Xbox, I don't know what to tell you. You should, but maybe you don't want to. How is this? How did this avoid the Switch of all things, though, Tark?
That's a great question. I don't know. That seems like a perfect place to put it. But why it's not on PS5? I mean, clearly that system cannot handle these games.
Right.
But back to the prices. Right now on Google Play, 1 and 2 are $8, and all the other ones are 15. So if they're gonna do remasters,
Yeah, but those are the 3D remaster ones.
No, this is 1 and 2 are their original ones.
Yeah, they quote original.
5 and quote originals. 5 and 6, $15 each. So I'm expecting the same price points, if not more. So whip out that wallet. Whip out that wallet.
Nope.
The fact that this, which piqued my interest probably the most of the entire thing, only got 20 seconds versus the 20 plus minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy is just tragic.
Yeah, I can't believe they called this a trailer.
Yeah.
This was tragic.
Yeah.
My only hope is that down the road they bundle it and put it on consoles. I'm not holding out hope.
Yeah,
but also maybe this opens the window for if Dragon Quest 3 2D HD remake does well, maybe they start then doing that for these games. I don't know.
Yeah, if these are any more than $5, I 100% will not buy them. I just won't. There's no reason. You know how I could play the pixel perfect version ones? Just play the freaking original ones. I have the Super Nintendo. I have the Famicom, the NES here. I have HD cables. We'll hook them up. We'll make them work. I'll put the carts and the imported cartridges in. We'll play them on this stream. Those are pixel perfect. They're the originals, the OGs. And you know what? I'll even English patch them for you in case you've never seen some of them and you want to know what the story is. If these are any more than $5, it's a flat out no from me. When it's all said and done, if they want to bundle it up for $25, $30, I'll pick it up then. I don't know why. Yes, this should be on the PlayStation so that I could put it on my freaking Vita. That'd be awesome. And remote play it from there. Yes, it should be on Xbox, but if you really wanted to skip those two because the audience size you think is not all that big for this was if you'd put it on nothing else, put it on the Switch. Screw mobile.
Exactly.
The only reason I can see this product, Kronos, is because Square is desperate to break big in the mobile market. They are desperate to open those doors wider than they are right now, and become, as big as like NC Soft and stuff like that in that mobile market. And so, hey, our flagships, here they come. I don't know. That's not to say they're not making mobile money. They are doing well with the few titles they have, but they are no NC Soft or anything like that.
Yeah, I wonder if it has something to do with like these games already kind of exist there, so just throwing new sprites in them is easy work, and then you just resell them as a remaster. Because like, how hard is it really, like in a sprite-based game that already uses sprites, to just slap new sprites on them? I mean,
Right.
it's work, but like it's not as much work as like porting it to the Switch or the PlayStation Store or the Xbox. They already exist on Steam, and except for 1 and 2 doesn't exist on Steam, and everything already exists on the mobile phone. So,
Am I the only one that actually prefers the original sprites?
I do. I prefer
like
the
looking
original.
at this comparison that credit to RPG site. I'm not saying they look bad, but I like particularly for me the FF6 SNES one, the Terra and Locke. and then the FF6 new that are ripped from the trailer that we just saw. I think the SNES ones look better, and that's, not me being hypercritical. I'm all for this product. If you price me out of it, that's your own fault. And I'm not exactly sure that it's an improvement. I don't know.
I don't think it is. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, the lock one is the biggest difference to me. Playing that game, Locke was a thief and kind of a dirty scoundrel. He looks all kind of cleaned up. It doesn't fit with him.
Yeah, the game's meant to be dark, and like it happened with the last set of sprites. Like they use these like pastel colors because they want to try to like make it look like Amano's art, and it just doesn't feel the same. Like I love Amano's art, I love it, but I also love the original sprites. So it's like
it's a weird spot for me. I like the idea. I like the idea of the product. I question the release platforms. I'm really sure that I'm going to end up questioning the price. And I'm just questioning like the art style, but they would have me at a reasonable price still. I don't think it's going to be a reasonable price. I'm not willing to pay more than $5 per title. I'm just not. I have 16 copies of these damn things already.
I think you nailed it though, that they're really wanting to push mobile. Because this is the first of the montage of all their mobile titles. They had this.
It kicked it off.
They kicked it off. The First Soldier, they wanted to promote that. Brave Exvius, and then they also had Reincarnation showed. So they were really trying to push their mobile section here. They didn't give any of them much time, but I think they're really wanting to make a push in the United States for that.
I think refusing to launch on the Switch is one of the dumbest choices for this one. That is a tailor-made audience, I think, for this. Like, I would even consider a slightly higher price point for myself if I had the capability to get it on my Switch. So
I'm right there with you.
Same.
I might go $8 per title, for a $48 bundle to get it on my Switch. I'm not going to do it to get it on my phone. I don't care. And I'm certainly not going to do it to get it on Steam. No. Next up in the show was Life is Strange. I know none of us have been like super into Life is Strange. My son is been into the originals. I did see some stuff here that made me more interested in True Colors than when we previously talked about True Colors when it was revealed at their summer showcase or whatever it was in like February or March. Particularly that this one's not going to be episodic. I didn't like when Hitman was episodic. I waited. I'm a Hitman fan. I bought Hitman 3 on release day. Hitman 1, I waited because I didn't want the episodic stuff. This game, we ended up buying the originals after they were all released in a bundle because my son wanted to play them, but we weren't doing the episodic thing. They're not doing that here. I do like quite a bit of what is going on, what was shown off here. And this is maybe the only title that moved me from a, nah, I'm not going to buy it, to a, you know what, I might buy that like release week. I might. Tark, what did this one do for you at the E3 showing?
Well, this and their announcement previously that they're going to kind of bundle the HD remasters of the previous two.
Yep.
Kind of an altogether package. Really set me on the path where, I might want to give this a try if they're all together. I am not a fan of episodic in any sort of form or fashion. Because if you're done, you're like, okay, now I got to wait how long for the next patch or
Exactly.
section? It's like, no, thank you. So I'm gonna give this a try when it comes out, and I'm gonna start from the beginning and see how it goes.
Kronos?
Yeah, I mean, this just isn't my jam. So I kind of tuned out when they started showing this because I kind of already knew that I could like.
This is when you tuned out?
Yeah, well, like I tuned out to tune back in. Like it's kind of like it was still on my screen, but this just never like really grabbed me. So I honestly like didn't really pay it much attention just because I don't really think they could sell me on it. I don't feel like I'm the audience for this game, and that's fine. I don't have to be the audience.
I didn't think I was going into it either.
Yeah.
I've watched my son play a little bit of some of the originals, and that was it. And then when we saw this announced, it was like, yeah, okay, great. There's another Life is Strange. I got to admit, they've got a little bit of compelling, like, mystery / paranormal type stuff and the empathy being used as abilities. Like, I don't know. I think it's clever. I think there's something unique there that I do want to check out. I don't know if I'll check it out day one, but I'll probably check it out month one instead of a year and a half later when the bundle is released and all the episodes are in it. So, Tark, they moved us on this one. They moved you and I.
Move the needle towards purchase. So
yeah,
a little bit
your
closer.
E3 presentation still sucked my left butt cheek, but
Moved me on one
you
aspect.
did move a couple of people here. The next one we had up was Babylon's Fall. We knew that this was going to be showcased, or at least it was leaked that it was going to be showcased, and showcased it was in the form of a stunning trailer and a beta announcement. And that was it. Because that's all they had time for, because they burned half of their time on Guardians of the Galaxy. Another fantasy world type setting, beautiful looking game so far. Again, we're going by the few trailers that we've seen. We don't know a lot. This one was voiced over, so kind of set up a little bit of a story here in this tower that was a beacon and then a blight and is now in ruins. So one I'm definitely interested in. It didn't improve my hype. It didn't diminish my hype. I did sign up for the beta. Kronos, have you signed up for the beta yet?
I haven't signed up, but I'm going to. The funny thing is, when they first showed this, I was like, "Oh, is this Final Fantasy Origins?" Like at first,
Right?
Because they started going through it, and I was like, "Oh, maybe we're gonna go through like all the dungeons and stuff." They showed like the fire, and I was like, and then like it would have cut back out. I was like, "Oh, okay, Babel, it's the Yoko Taro game." I'm excited for this. I think it looks cool. Again,
think it
it didn't
does
really move me. It didn't really move me anywhere where I already wasn't, like you said.
Yep.
I really hope. I don't. Do we know if this is multiplayer? Because
That's the thing.
if it is, that's badass. I mean, I don't need it to be, but it would be sick if it was.
So the combat, the art style, what they all showed as far as how the game is, it moved that needle up for me. And then they said the dreaded live service, and I'm after Avengers and everything, I'm like, oh god, you got to be kidding me.
So it is going to be a live service game, yes. And to answer Kronos your question, it is multiplayer, yes.
Okay, cool.
However, they did make big points in like their press releases and stuff that came out after the show to talk about the ability to play it solo or group up with up to 3 friends, so party size 4, in a multiplayer format. So I would imagine they're trying to sell it kind of the same way that they sold Outriders, right? In that you could play it solo, but you could also play it multiplayer. Either way, you're not missing anything. It's not like you're not going to be able to do things solo. So there's still, this is very much in that Outriders path, except for, Tark, what you add, this one will be live service, not like Outriders was just a standalone box, and that was it.
It looks great, but the live service just, my god, can we move past live service for crying out loud? Like,
no, it makes billions. So
Christ.
that's not, we're not moving past it. We're not moving past it. Would you like me to get you some 2D remasters of stuff you played 30 years ago that you have 7 copies of?
Well, I already have 7 copies, so I'm good.
All right. Well, the 8th will be on sale shortly.
Okay.
And then we have what was probably, if you were a Final Fantasy fan and you were watching this show and you had already seen, we didn't see 14 or 16 or this or this or this, the most anticipated, let's say, announcement, which was, we discussed last week, a leak about a Demon Souls-esque Neo slash Ninja Gaiden slash Team Ninja action-y Final Fantasy, retelling the Final Fantasy story from the original NES Final Fantasy. Well, we got the official confirmation that this one is called Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. We had the Final Fantasy Origin part on last week's show. We mocked it already for now having an Origin and an Origins Final Fantasy, but whatever. We got to see a lovely trailer on this one, and then they surprised everybody by confirming that the game would be for PlayStation 4 and 5 and that there would be a trailer or a demo available, but the demo was only PlayStation 5. And that went live immediately following Square Enix's presentation and was broke for 48 hours.
Or so they thought it was live.
Or so they thought. Turned out the file was corrupt, so
Yeah.
downloading it onto your system resulted in a corrupt file that you then had to delete and wait for the correct file. Now, it did finally show up 2 days later. So not only did we see this at E3, but all three of us have had some hands-on time with it. Kronos, you said you only got a little bit. Did you find your way through the entire demo?
I didn't, but I've watched people play through it past where I did. So I didn't really play too much of it. And I will say, like, I don't know. You said you liked the trailer? Did you like this trailer?
I have not given an opinion on the trailer yet.
Okay.
I said we saw a trailer.
Okay. I thought you said, like, it was a good trailer.
Oh, no, this trailer can die in a house fire.
Yeah, this trailer is terrible. This trailer, they literally took they went to Final Fantasy XV Comrades and they pulled the most generic character that you can make in that game and they stuck him in this game. And then the voice lines are like crazy cringe. I will say though, once you play the demo, it definitely is better than this trailer.
Yeah.
Like there are things there, there are ideas there that are a lot of fun. There are a lot of things they need to fix. But I think the idea is there, and if we could just like delete this main character out, and then like the allies are kind of weird too. But
Allies are the worst.
I'll say like this trailer doesn't do it justice, and I'm not saying this game is great right now, but this trailer is so bad.
Yeah,
It's
do
so
not
bad.
base it on this trailer. The trailer is awful. The voice acting is just okay. The dialogue is horrendous. To Tark's point of saying chaos 900 times in his opening, which everybody thought they were the funniest, most clever dude and dudette on Twitter, replying to Final Fantasy's thing being broken, saying, "Oh, it's chaos."
I just want to step
The
in.
memes are real.
Someone said, "Are the allies Donald and Goofy levels of bad?"
No, they're worse.
They're worse. They're worse than Donald
worse.
and Goofy.
Yeah,
100%.
They're worse. The trailer
I'd rather
is
have Donald
horrible.
and Goofy.
Tark, did you beat the demo?
I did not beat the demo. Ran out of time. I like the game.
You didn't run out of time. You mean before the show?
I ran
before the show.
Well, day job. So I like the game. I want to play more of it. I'm going to get back into it at some point. The graphics seem just a little bit off. Like it's like early PS4 days. I don't know. They need to take some more time. And maybe it was just, that we're just in this dark, gloomy, grungy castle and we haven't seen more locations yet. It just doesn't feel like Final Fantasy. I know we got the monsters and we got jobs, but I don't know, just something feels off. I can't place my finger on it yet.
Did you see the tweet that said it was corrupted because the PlayStation 5 can't handle PlayStation 3 games? Thought that was pretty good.
I did see someone put the image of the artwork on a PS3 case. That was good.
So, okay, this is gonna sound really weird. I'm about to tear into this game.
Do it.
I love it. Let's go.
For a game that I will 100% be buying.
You're sounding like me, Mike. Keep going, dude. This is great.
Marvel's Avengers all over again.
I hated this trailer. The trailer was garbage. I hate the characters. I absolutely... Their names, if you have not played or looked into this, their names are Jack, Jed, and Ash. Okay? Jack,
I remember.
Jed, and Ash. And when you play the demo, Jed and Ash yelled Jack as much as Jack in the trailer yelled chaos. It's annoying, okay? There are good things in this game. I sat down to play the demo going, I like Demon Souls. I like what Team Ninja did with Ninja Gaiden for the most part, right? There was one or two that, fell off the rails. There was a second, or I like Neo and Neo 2. I knew what I was getting in here. Like, Tark, you mentioned this doesn't feel like Final Fantasy enough for you yet, but maybe that's because it's a limited view. I'm okay with that. Like, it had the Final Fantasy flavor, but I knew what I was getting into. We fought bombs. We fought a cactuar. We fought some staples in the series, just for some nods. Then, of course, we're in Chaos's shrine, and then we're fighting Chaos ? Right? I mean, we all know it's Garland, and we know what's going on. Now, we don't know what they're going to do story-wise here. Like, is this a reimagining? Are they going to do a strict retelling of Final Fantasy I? Is this a prequel to it? We kind of don't know that yet. I went in just thinking, I'm probably going to be okay with this game. About 15 minutes into it, into messing around with it, because I had to do some other things, I was like, damn, I really like this. I really like this. I like it is looter grabber stabbery, right? I mean, you've got your commons, your rares, your epics, your legendaries. You can pick up higher level versions of the same thing you have on so that you can keep that type of stuff going. There is a job system that you are leveling up and skill trees, and you get to the end of the skill tree and your mage becomes a black mage, or your sword master becomes a warrior, and then you get more abilities. It's heavily combo based. It is heavily. I started liking it, right? You got to dodge. You got to use your soul. You got to combo. You got to attack. The Garland, or the Chaos fight, I should say, at the end is a long fight. It is hard. It is hard, the way it should be for a Demon Souls-like game. All that said, the fucking main character needs to go. Just needs to be scrapped. Just scrap that asshole and start over, please. The other two, I just want to play alone. I don't want them there at all. I do not want them there at all. They are an absolute hindrance in every sense of the damn word. And they don't do anything enough to counterbalance the fact that they are a nuisance. They're an absolute nuisance. When you are fighting Chaos at the end, I am playing at ranged a little bit because I was using Warrior and Black Mage. And so I would back off during certain sequences and let my teammates do battle, and I'm just going to chuck fireballs and shit from afar for a little bit. But frickin' Jed and Ash, like, I can't tell sometimes where Chaos was targeting. I didn't know that I was about to be charged because in between me is Jed. And so I think Jed is the target. But Chaos goes right around Jed and comes flying at me. And they purposely get in your way. They're going to be dead in any meaningful fight within the first 15 seconds.
Yeah.
They cannot survive in the Chaos fight. And don't bring them back up because you need your potions.
Yeah, you got to
use your potions to bring them back up. Just let those bastards stay dead on the floor. I honestly want them removed. I honestly want them totally removed from the game. Give me a single player experience. This AI is horrible. They're like, if I could progress them down tree, and maybe you can later, right? I don't know. Maybe you can progress them down tree. Give one of them a taunt. It just, I don't know, make them do something that isn't just get in the fucking way. The Chaos fight was probably 5 times harder than it needed to be because of my AI.
Yeah.
And being confused on where targeting was going and stuff. And it is a challenging fight. I died a bunch of times figuring out the strategy I wanted to use with my Black Mage. I loved that. That's very Demon Souls-ish. I loved that. I love it in a Final Fantasy skin. The graphics are rocky as shit. They are rough. There is screen tearing all over the place. All over the place. The environment looks nice, and you see this could be really beautiful. This could be it's not there yet, but when this comes out, if they've optimized it and done, this could be beautiful. It is like, I almost wish they didn't release the demo yet, because I think this trailer and the demo, if you aren't somebody like me that is like, I already know I'm interested in this. I also know I understand development and things like that. If you're just a generic consumer and I like Demon Souls, let me check out oh my God, this is horrible. I'm not playing this. I hope there's going to be a lot of changes because despite everything I just said, I like where this is going. I just don't like where it's at. And I like where it's going enough that they are going to get my money. Day one, they will get my money. All right, rant done. Kronos, on to you.
No, yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I mean, I'm gonna buy this regardless. I maybe the only one thing is like, I think the demo might have helped it a little bit because God, that trailer, it's not selling anyone.
No.
You're not selling
Oh,
anyone with
no.
that trailer. At least the gameplay. If you like go in and the job switching stuff and like the blue mage type stuff, that was another thing I was gonna say is like your allies when you try to like suck in a spell, just
Ugh.
always get in the way, and it's like the worst. I agree. I think they should just delete them unless if they're not gonna do anything meaningful, just get rid of them. I already don't care about them. Like just I don't know.
Neither
and
did
then-
they. They're named Jed and Ash.
That's probably true.
They're so generic.
Oh god, I really hope they redo the main character too, though. Like he just looks so
They all.
like they went. To, I'm telling you, dude, they went to Final Fantasy 15 Comrades and they just pressed X, and they got
Random.
they
Press
just got the generic, whatever the most generic thing you could make.
I love
And
the
they stuck
combos.
'em.
I love the flexibility. I love the finishing moves.
it's
I
great.
love the being able to steal spells basically
Yeah.
off of enemies. Like there's so much good here, Tark. But
Absolutely.
Jack just needs to be scrapped and redone.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
yeah.
put a female character in there. Crying out loud.
I'd
Let
be
me
fine with
create a
that.
character.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Let me.
Just
It's
create
a
character.
fucking
You
warrior
can do that
of
in Demon
light.
Souls. Yeah, why can't
It's a
put in the
warrior,
warrior
of
of light for crying out loud?
Yeah. They
Put
didn't
in the
have
actual warrior
names
of
in
light.
one. Yeah, and
Yeah, they did. Warrior, ninja.
Jed's like,
white
we're
mage.
the warriors of light that the prophecy foretold of. And I'm like, I freaking hate you. I hope you lose.
The AI
hope
for
you
the
lose.
companions is so bad that the battles are actually easier when they're dead.
Yeah,
It
100%.
is.
That tells you
It is. It is.
exactly. And maybe they have a lot more to do further down in the game, but at this point,
Oh
they're
man, you
so-
can get juggled something fierce in
Oh,
this game
God.
too. Like
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
knocks you down, you better pray that you hit X at the right time. Otherwise, you might
I
be
hate
taking 2 or 3 more right to the face.
I hate bats, by the way.
Oh, the
Screw
bats!
those bats.
I love
I think they're the
stealing their
hardest enemy.
supersonic ability though, and then
I
going
think-
and using that.
I think they were the hardest enemy in the game,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
I love how you dealt with the bombs.
Yeah.
Fire right back them, make them explode. Bam, you're done.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And hopefully
I-
Jack and Ash, or I'm sorry, Jed and Ash are dead from the explosion, and you can go on without them.
It's very weird. I've never been like so hyped about something that I actually really haven't had a positive experience about. Besides
'Cause there's
seeing what it
potential.
could be,
Yeah.
be.
Because the potential's there for
Yeah,
them to
absolutely
clean
is.
stuff up.
You're just channeling my energy. It's okay. Fine.
The energy of what?
We're getting a Legend of Mana. If you have played on the PlayStation 1, the PS4 remaster is coming, and that is actually coming next month, so we don't have all that long to wait. I actually really like the Mana series. A Legend of Mana is probably number 2 behind Secret of Mana for me. So I like that this is coming to the PS4. I wish it was a PS5, but backwards compatible. It'll be fine. I'll live.
Yeah.
You know, how advanced can you make the remastered graphics?
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that they have been kind of hit and miss on these Mana remakes, though, Kronos. I don't know if you've played any of them so far.
I have, yeah, and I agree with that too. Like some have been much better than other ones, and yeah, I mean, I'm hopeful for this one too because I really like this one as well. So I'll probably grab it day one with you. But yeah, it has been super hit or miss.
Tark, you coming with us on day one, or are you not a Mana guy?
No, I'm a Mana guy. I love Secret of Mana. Secret of Mana, Secret of Evermore. Two of my favorite games on the SNES. Trials of Mana, I never got into. I didn't pick that one up, but I own Legend of Mana. It's over there. It's not sealed. I actually put it in my PS2 or PS1 back in the day, so it's not sealed. But yeah, I'm gonna pick up the remaster and give it a whirl.
Are we forgetting anything? I think we covered all of it, right? We covered the entire show. We got.
Oh, there's one more thing. One more thing.
Guardians of the
Our Dead Horse.
Galaxy,
Our Dead
Pixel, Life is
forget-
Strange, Babylon's Fall, Stranger of Paradise, Legend of Mana. I mean, that's pretty much it, right?
Our Dead Horse. Don't forget our Dead Horse.
Oh yeah, Marvel's Avengers. You're still getting your expansion. Let's
Which
go
might be the last
on
thing.
to Love It or Leave It. If you think I'm being mean on Marvel's Avengers there, no, I'm not. I'm literally just quoting what Square Enix gave you. Here's a trailer, and you're still getting your expansion. That's it.
I'm being mean by saying it might be the last thing you get.
All right, gentlemen, love it or leave it. This is the segment where I give you one item from Square Enix's repertoire, whether it's a game, a feature in a game, a press release, or an event, or whatever, and you tell me you love it, you want more of it, or leave it and just throw it by the wayside. You don't want to see any more of it. I wouldn't be a show if I didn't say Square Enix's E3 presentation 2021 as a whole. Tark, love it or leave it.
I'm going to leave it. The one word I would use is underwhelming.
Kronos?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it as well. I feel like they were only really one-upped by Capcom, who showed like literally nothing, which was also
they came on.
disappointing.
They showed one trailer and that was it.
And then like,
or no, that was Bandai Namco. Sorry.
and then that day basically had me thinking, it's like, wow, Sony won E3 by just not showing up. So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go with leave it. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it too. It was honestly, and I think Q said it best in MMO Bomb Chat the other day. She was like, it feels like this E3, everybody was like approached by the ESA to come and was like, we don't really have all that much, and they were like, just show something, and all the companies were like, okay, we'll show something.
Yeah, they begged.
Yeah.
E3 begged. They're like, please, could you give us something, please?
I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it too. My winner, by the way, if you want to know, was Xbox Bethesda. But if those two would have done separate shows like they have in the past, neither one of them would have won there. The smartest thing they could do was bundle that up into one show. And the biggest announcement was probably Elden Ring, and that didn't even happen at E3. That happened at Summer Game Fest. So,
Are you counting Nintendo in that list too, or does that not count?
I feel Nintendo. For E3.
Yeah, I thought Nintendo's presentation was underwhelming too.
Oh, damn. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, there's some, again, like Square, there are some things that I like about, I definitely am going to buy Metroid Dread, 100%. I like Tactics. Hell yeah. All for it. But this is the year of the 35th anniversary for Zelda. We got a tease of the Breath of the Wild 2, and that was it. The Metroid has its anniversary. There are multiple just... They didn't talk about their new system at all. Like, it was just underwhelming. To me, it was like Square. Yes, there were things that I want to buy and that I'm looking forward to there. But as a show, I feel like you could have done this through a 15-minute Nintendo Direct next month. It did at E3. It just felt vapid for me. I know you were a fan, but that's because you got your Tactics game. So you're like...
Dude, I thought they forgot about that series, so I'm excited.
You are just like over.
I wish
the
it was
moon.
a new game,
Over
not
the
just
moon.
a remake.
It makes me hopeful that there will be a new game. So
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
If it sells well.
Make sure you stay put. Right after the show, we're gonna go live to a stream with Miss Faye Death. How are you, Faye?
Well, how about you?
I'm good. What are you playing today? What are you gaming?
We are gaming one more week in hell with the boys because I look like a dragon and that was too good to pass up. So
yeah, and you want to jump back into Outer Worlds now that the sequel was announced. What was your overall take on E3?
Slightly underwhelmed. I wasn't as excited for it as I usually was, and I haven't really watched a lot of the actual presentations. I've just kind of been going off the news, and it's just kind of like, eh. But you know, I figure with the world up in the air last year and everything, everybody's just trying to get their shit back together, and I can't blame them.
I guess. Chat,
but I am excited for Outer Worlds too.
Don't go anywhere. Faye will be up right after the show here. Of course, we'll be back next Thursday with another Relic Grind. Remember, I won't be streaming tomorrow. Instead, I'll be on Mr. Happy's channel with Mr. Happy and Sly talking E3. We'll host it here on Ready Check Radio, too, in case you miss it. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be live on MMO Bomb, talking E3 there at 1 in the afternoon Eastern, twitch.tv/MMO Bomb. And then Saturday evening, be talking some more E3 with Jason Winter and Yod right here on Ready Check Radio for Gaming Gumbo. Until we meet again next Thursday for the Relic Grind, Kronos, where can everybody find you?
So same as always, Twitter. I've actually streamed a couple times the last week. I'm playing through Advance Wars 1 and 2 again, in celebration for them actually announcing a new game. New. And then I've been playing a lot of Guilty Gear, so if anybody wants to jump in and watch me play fighting games or Advance Wars, pretty cool.
Tarkoth.
Find me on Twitter, Twitch Gaming, or Tarkoth Gaming. And
You
on
wish.
Yeah. And on Twitch at Tarkov Gaming, playing Persona 5 Royale and Final Fantasy XIV. Also, find me here on Saturdays and Sunday night at Ready Check Radio playing Nier Replicant.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me on Twitter right there at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, so that we can tweet at you every time we've got a podcast or one of our volunteer streamers who I love dearly and thank streaming on the channel. Until next time, gang, stay safe. We'll see you on the server. Later.